Criminals range in intelligence, from big-time super geniuses to small-time crooks who can't tie their shoes without falling into a volcano. Karma is well aware of the latter group and punishes such individuals accordingly. When it comes to choosing victims, these thieves had the same amount of luck as Ed Esquive bringing a knife to a gunfight. Here are 7 thieves who messed with the wrong people. Armed robber gets owned by Marine. A robber who picked the worst store in the state to try and rob, as he came face to face with a clerk who just so happened to be a former Marine Corps combat instructor and black belt in karate. The thief approached the register with a pack of beers, and when the clerk turned away, took out a huge blade. But Jacob knocked him out in no time.
Started to move my direction, which I didn't actually really notice till I kind of turned around and he was standing right behind me. And then that's when I saw a 12-inch blade coming my way, and I didn't know what his intentions were. I wasn't about to ask.
Despite having a knife, the would-be attacker soon found out the hard way he had picked one of the worst possible targets. Jacobs is a former Marine combat instructor and a black belt in karate with more than 25 years of training.
Fortunately, I was able to knock the knife out of his hand and subdue him in an arm bar submission, and in which I ran him face first into the rack over there.
Clerk disarms shotgun-wielding man. Video shows the worker serving 2 customers as the robber approaches. He can then be seen snatching the shotgun and eventually tearing it away from the attacker, who then turns and flees. Police investigating the robber later found the shotgun was not loaded at the time. An 18-year-old man was taken into custody the following day and has since been charged with attempted armed robbery. Missouri liquor store clerk pulls gun on armed robber. John Lewis Alexander, who is a former military man, was working at a liquor store when a man walked into the store smoking a cigarette. When Alexander asked the man to take the cigarette back outside, the suspect asked for the money before allegedly pulling out the gun on Alexander, who pulled out his own loaded gun in return.
And I asked him to take a cigarette back outside, so I just pulled the gun out from behind him and said, "You need to give me all your money." I pulled my weapon up and put it up against his mouth and told him, "You need to get out of here before I blow your head off." Backed right on out the door.
MMA fighter subdues burglar. An alleged burglar picked the wrong house to hit. The San Diego home happened to belong to a professional MMA fighter. The burglary attempt soon ended with the suspect in a chokehold.
Hernandez never made the man pass out, but he did hold him until police got there, and says he could have approached the situation with a lot more intensity than he did.
Deep down in my heart, I guess I kind of wanted to break the dude's arm, but at the same time, I don't get a kick out of inflicting pain on people, you know.
Mum asks 911 for permission to shoot intruder. 18-year-old mother Sarah McKinley was alone with her 3-month-old son in their Blanchard home. McKinley says 2 men armed with a foot-long hunting knife attempted to break down her door. She grabbed her baby and fetched a 12-gauge shotgun before calling 911. As intruder stepped in her room, she shot and killed him on the spot.
This young mother takes maternal instinct to a whole new level.
I walked over and got the 12-gauge. Went in the bedroom and got the pistol and put the bottle in his mouth, and then I called 911.
18-year-old Sarah McKinley killed a man, she says, to protect her 3-month-old baby.
I'm here by myself with my infant baby. Can I please get a dispatcher out here immediately?
Late on New Year's Eve, police say 2 men, one armed with a 12-inch hunting knife, were trying to break into her home outside Oklahoma City. McKinley recognized one of them as someone she thought was stalking her.
He was from door to door trying to bust in. They said I couldn't shoot him until he come in the door.
Are your doors locked? Yes, I've got 2 guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
I can't tell you that you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby.
The teen mother killed the 24-year-old intruder the second he stepped inside. Police call the shooting justified.
Albuquerque homeowner tapes up man for breaking into his home. Mark Thompson was caught on camera breaking into a home, then making himself at home. But he was caught red-handed, ending up in quite a sticky situation when the homeowner found him where he wasn't supposed to be.
In the security video, you can see Thompson casually walking in yesterday afternoon, putting on a jacket, wandering around, then turning on the TV. At one point, he even grabs a beer from the fridge. The homeowner got an alert that there was movement in his home. He watched Thompson on his phone and called his neighbor. Chandra Vestal lives across the street from that homeowner and didn't hesitate to help.
So I went to our garage, my husband and I, and we got 2 pistols. We met him in the cul-de-sac. He blocked off the entry of the cul-de-sac to make sure if he did have a vehicle, the man that was entering the home, that he wouldn't be able to escape. Micah and I went into the home with 2 of the loaded weapons. Micah announced himself to the perpetrator saying, "I have a loaded weapon, get down on your hands and knees." At that time, I came up behind him and we got the individual on his hands and knees to lay down. So we got his arms and his feet duct taped, and then we picked him up, carried him out to the front yard, and waited for the police to show up.
When police showed up, they found Thompson on the ground, his hands and ankles taped.
The police had told us that the home prior that he had broken into, he was wearing the same clothes that he had stolen from that home when he broke into Micah's house.
But Thompson tried to talk his way out of this one.
Truly said, "I'm not trying to steal anything, I just want to be friends."
Mugger versus MMA fighter. A mugger ended up getting a lot more than he bargained for when picking the wrong victim to rob at gunpoint. Bruised and bloodied, Anthony Miranda was arrested after attempting to steal money from a 6'2", 250 pounds mixed martial arts expert who ended up wrenching the loaded gun from his hand after Miranda pointed it at his chest.
Well, then the would-be mugger puts the gun against his head, and Justin says, quote, "He asked me for my wallet, for my phone, and my keys. I told him I don't have a wallet, I only have cash. He cursed me like MF. Well, then Justin gave the would-be mugger $30. The mugger wasn't satisfied. He popped one of the bullets out of the gun and said, "Look, MF, it's a hollow point. I'll blow your brains out." He then ordered Justin out of the car. Big mistake, Mr. Mugger, because when the mugger put the gun to Justin's chest, he says, quote, "I put him down to the ground. He was fighting. He didn't want to give up. He was begging me to let him go. He said he has a baby." Well, this is what the mugger, the would-be mugger, Anthony Miranda, looked like, as you saw, after he was forced to the ground. Not a very pretty picture. Keep in mind, the martial arts, the ultimate fighter, 6'2", 250 pounds. The would-be mugger, 5'5", 148 pounds. This is what he's supposed to look like, Megan, in case you're wondering what Anthony Miranda looked like before that beatdown.
Oh, Anthony.
See that?